Hey everyone, my name is Ben Richardson. I'm with the 1111 Media Creator Academy. Wanted to give you a quick tutorial on if you get hung up on having a stutter in your AI video trailer or video or what you may be doing. So let's talk about what it could be and the fixes. So we're going to dive into Premiere Pro, which is what I'm using. So I'm going to share my screen. You may notice if you look at this, I want you to look and see that there is some stutter. You see that stutter in this clip, and there's some stutter in this clip as well. And see, it just straight up just hits and is not smooth. This is not a rendering issue because I've rendered this clip out and it still does that same stutter. So what could it be? If you look over here, you're going to see in your project panel here, what I've done is I've identified it for you. And 90% of the time, this is going to be what it is. If you look, we have frame rate 24, 24, 24, 24, and then we have these strange frame rates right here. We have 30, and this is 30.37. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, to be quite honest with you, but it's there. That's what it's saying it is. So this is what's causing this stutter step. And the reason why is if we go to sequence settings, we can see that the sequence settings say that it is 24 frames per second and the display format is 24 frames per second with the time code. So what we're doing is we're trying to force a 30 frame image or 30 frame video clip into 24 frames and it doesn't quite go in there. So it just says, I can't do it. So step one is how do we fix this in our timeline? And step two is how do we prevent this from happening in the first place? So let's go with the fix first. So all you're going to do to fix this is you go to the clip that is the problem, you highlight it, right click, go to modify, and then we're going to go to interpret footage. And what we're going to do is we're going to assume that this footage is 24 frames per second, and it is going to literally slow down those frames. This is easier than creating frames that aren't there. So if you push OK, now all of a sudden that is this shot two here, and it is smoother. And that was this one here. And as you can tell, there's no bad frames. So let's see if we can do it with this one here as well. Interpret footage. We'll assume that this is 24 frames per second. As you can see, it may change your footage just a little bit, so you may have to realign them and adjust because it will change it just a hair. For something like that where the clips aren't together, it's fine, but when they are supposed to be together, you'll notice, or they are supposed to be a seamless cut, you may notice that you have to go back and fix that. But as you can tell, he is smooth now. There's no more stuttering. He looks up without that stutter step. It works just great. So that's your easy fix, is if you happen to accidentally iterate this upscale from your 720p or your 5 whatever p to 1080p and it assumes that it's 30 frames per second, that's how you can fix that inside Premiere Pro or the nonlinear editing system that you have. All right, so let's look at the root issue here. And the root issue is going to come from us upscaling our original iteration. So let's hop over to OpenArt. In my case, this is what I use to generate the videos and to upscale. So our original clips are going to be in 24 frames per second. So when I go to the video upscaler, which is powered by Topaz, which is a great upscaler, go to history or you can upload your own. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this one here that had the stutter that we just looked at. And when I go over to here, here it is, everything's here and everything's going to be upgraded just fine, except defaultly frame interpolation is on and on 30 FPS, 30 frames per second, which would be fine, except our original iteration was 24 frames per second. So now when I upscale it, I am forcing it to add and bake in 6 extra frames, which as you could see earlier was messing it up. Sometimes it would be 30 exact, sometimes it was 30 and some change, which again, really it just isn't a thing. So how do we get this how we need it? It's simple. You just turn off frame interpolation. And what that is going to assume is that you want the clip that it is upscaling to be the same FPS as the original clip. So if you look at this is what I did earlier, and you can see it forced it to be frame rate 30, which caused that stutter that you saw earlier in this video. But when you turn off the frame interpolation, now you can look at frame rate. We're still at 1080p, and now we have the frame rate at 24. So when you take that into your nonlinear editing system, you'll see that it is smooth, no stutter. So that's how to prevent it in the first place, is to look at that. So that is it for today. Come back to our YouTube channel for more helpful tips and tricks, and be sure to check out our classes on our website. And thank you so much for listening in to 1111 Media Creator Academy. See you here soon for more. Thanks.